Alright, so this is official now. This is a part 2 of our 2-part Summer of Spook. I'm not actually calling it that because we're going to
We should call it the Summer
of Spook. Alright.
It's just one time.
It's not a bad title.
It's a one-time Summer of Spook.
Yeah, well, and I'm going to put this all into mega episodes. It's not going to be like a part 1 and a part 2. I'm just going to make it one mega episode. Earlier, we talked about The Thing and my weird obsession with cacti. And now we just finished watching The Shining.
And we have a special guest on this one.
Yep, special guest.
Guys.
Casey's a returning guest now.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks
You've been
so
on
much.
1.5 episodes now.
Yep, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, but we just watched The Shining, and this part takes place, I don't know how many weeks, but I'm going to say several weeks after we watched The
Because
Thing.
we watched The Thing the same weekend we saw Civil War. That was
right.
Oh, yeah, it's been a while.
beginning of May.
Yeah, it was a long while.
So we're in mid-June.
Okay, that's not bad. It's a couple weeks. But yeah, it's a little ways away. So we since The Thing wasn't exactly a full episode in its own right, we decided just to do these back-to-back, quote-unquote back-to-back, and just combine it in one episode. But yeah, Casey, since you're the guest and you're completely new to The Shining, what were your just general thoughts?
Here, before he says that, let me just put forward, I have seen the movie and read the book previously.
I have just read the book previously.
Brad has just read the book, and Casey hadn't done any of that. He knew some stuff from the internet, but that's about it.
Basically, like your base level of Shining knowledge.
I
Here's
knew,
Johnny, stuff like that.
I knew Here's Johnny and Come
Little
Play With
Girls.
Us. Yeah. I guess initial reaction, that was some scary ass shit.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Like it was kind of a slow build up.
It was a really
very slow boil.
That was there were parts where I was just like kind of bored with it, but then like when it got to like the
where it
horror
was-
part,
yeah,
it did it very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, because I read the book, the horror aspect was kind of lost on me. And even then, I knew some of the differences between the book and movie version going in.
Yeah.
Though I do wish they kept the ending from the book.
So you prefer the book to the movie?
Definitely. I 100% endorse the book more than the movie. The movie by itself is really good. It's a Kubrick movie. I'm starting to like his style a lot, so I'm going to have to watch some of his other flicks. But the movie by itself, very good standalone horror movie. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, it is.
If you want to get real spooked, the book. The book fleshes out every possible facet of the movie, and the ending is a lot better.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff in the movie that I was like confused about.
I can imagine the dog being one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the movie they expand on that. Not a lot.
But then also
the
like
book, they
on
expand
exactly like what The Shining is and like because it's ESPN. You guys
this
told me that.
this movie is like one of the most ambiguous movies where like people develop their own fan theories and endings and ideas as to what is going on behind it.
Whereas the book pretty much just answers all of them.
Yeah. But everyone sees the movie as its own separate entity by now. It's not seen as an adaptation of, well, it is seen as an adaptation of The Shining, but it's not taken to where they take into account everything that happens in the book.
Unlike, say, Harry Potter, where it's pretty much a direct adaptation.
It's very, very close. Whereas this one is really far in what it does and a lot of the things that it does.
It shares a name and some base concepts, but beyond that, it's really different.
Yeah.
Which I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying I loved the book.
Yeah.
And I'm also mad they killed off Halloran, which is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, but I personally like the movie more. I think it's just because that's what I saw first.
Yeah, you know what, I could probably see that.
Because I saw the movie first and then I read the book, whereas you read the movie first and read the book first and saw the movie.
No, I read the movie first and watched the book.
Yes, I
stared
agree.
at it for several hours.
But yeah, I prefer the movie, and I still to this day think it's one of the best horror movies out there. Like this, The Exorcist, The Thing. Those are like the essentials to seeing a good horror movie.
Especially The Thing.
Oh yeah, especially The Thing.
The Thing's just general style I liked a lot more.
Oh yeah.
Because The Shining was just so ambiguous, I'm like, well, I know what's happening in the book. Well, The Thing, I only knew slight spoilers. But I just like The Thing better. I think the pacing in The Thing was just a lot better done. than in The Shining. Though The Shining, you're right, it starts off with the small scares.
Really slow.
Really slow.
Yeah.
But
Like, there was that part with the young woman in the bathtub.
Oh, yeah.
And then he kisses her.
That's
and then,
fucking terrifying.
That was
still.
the weirdest ass shit. I
Yeah,
had
it
no
was.
idea what the fuck that was.
Yeah.
Like, what?
That actually we can go into, because they explain that in the book.
yeah,
right?
I think it was
yeah.
just one lady who was there, who was married to a rich man, who she just kind of left on her own vacations for whatever reason, and she would always hire a stud, basically a gigolo or a male prostitute, something, and they'd get on drugs and they'd just fuck all over the place. And this lady was already like 60 or 70 when this is happening too,
Yeah.
so she was really needing that young dick. Anyway, so one day she just kind of dies in the room, and they're like, oh shit, we gotta kind of cover this up in order to avoid tarnishing the Overlook's already tarnished name.
Yeah.
So I think she actually just drowned in a bathtub or something, which is why
Yeah,
she was in the bathtub.
I think that's what it was.
Now,
Go on.
you go ahead and say.
So that was a completely separate incident from like.
Oh yeah,
From the Grady killing his
Yeah.
kids?
Yeah.
Grady was just the most recent one in the
Yeah.
in the book. The
Also-
book there was like 4 or 5 incidents.
I don't think we mentioned this. Spoilers for The Shining in case
Spoilers,
you
yeah.
haven't seen this movie
Oh, shit.
or read the book, but
Well, yeah,
Oh, well.
I can go ahead and put a spoiler warning on screen before transitioning into this part.
Oh, well.
Future Brett, that's your issue. You
Yeah.
deal with that shit.
yeah. But
Lazy sack of shit.
yes, you are. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yes, he is.
I
Current
prefer
Brett's not.
I prefer the movie to the book, and yeah,
Wait, so did Grady kill those the twins?
yes.
In
He
the
did,
book, I don't
okay.
think they had twins, but yeah, even in the book, yes, he
I
killed
think
his
they
family.
did have twins in the book because that's like a staple of The Shining as a whole, both book and movie.
I don't think they ever mentioned it was twins, because I know there wasn't that tricycle sequence in the book. I know for a fact that wasn't in there. It was just Danny he was riding around, but he didn't ever mention twins or come play with us.
Yeah.
But how about we do this? Casey, how about you go to the parts you were you weren't too sure on the movie or were super ambiguous to you, and then we'll just
Okay.
explain the book.
Yeah.
I guess the bartender. That was one of
Yes.
the biggest things. I didn't understand the bartender at all, and like how. Wait, so was it, and like how that tied in with Jack's character? But then,
Yes.
But then at the end, was Jack like a reincarnation of like the old guy? Because they showed the picture at
What?
the very end of. Okay.
What I took that as, in the book, it's much more expanded on that Jack is just a raging alcoholic. Like, he didn't just injure Danny. Like, he was also...
They kind of touch on that in the book.
Yeah.
Not in the book, but in the
In the
movie.
movie. They mentioned that, yes, but they expand on it. They didn't just...
Yeah.
He didn't just hurt Danny in a drunken fit of rage. He also hurt a student.
That's why he quit his teaching job. At the
Yes.
beginning, he said that he moved from Vermont to
Yeah.
Boulder. It's because he injured a student.
Because the student was, for lack of a better word, a snobby rich kid who thought he deserved a lot better than what he got in the class. So he went to go slash Jack's tires. Now, Jack was just, it was fucked up. But Jack just got pissed and just beat the hell out of the kid. I don't know if he put him into a coma or it's still recording, Quinn. Don't worry. See, it's playing the thing at the top. Yeah, I know.
It better be.
So you can go ahead and click the voice icon there now. It should still be recording.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
see?
God.
Yeah.
I'm making sure, goddammit.
Yeah, my phone does weird shit sometimes.
Yeah.
But basically, he beat the hell out of the kid, and I think he broke several bones, or maybe put him into a coma, or something where he basically just had. They said they won't press charges if he just resigns.
Yeah.
So they expanded on that in the book. They also had another character that Jack went partying with. They explained how he met Wendy and how their whole marriage is just a shit show.
Yeah.
They touch on that in the movie again with trust issues and all that, but it's just not good. But my theory on what was the bartender's name?
Lloyd.
My theory with Lloyd and the picture at the end is that both Lloyd is an extension of the Overlook's malevolent spirit. It's trying to get Jack's soul. You notice how Lloyd pretty much appeared saying he'd sell his soul for a beer. Well, it's not exactly the devil, it's just the Overlook trying to take control of him.
Yeah.
And my theory in the movie part, I don't know if they really expanded on this in the book, because in the book they have flashback sequences where Jack's going insane and he's actually there at those parties. Is that the picture is basically all the souls that the Overlook has taken over the years.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
That's what my take on it was.
Okay. But that would actually make a lot of sense then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually that's what I thought it was too. Well, at least this time watching, because I've seen it 2 or 3 times. I can't, because counting this time, but watching it this time, that's what I thought it was when they showed him. That's what anyone who's died in the hotel, they get put into that picture.
Oh, I thought it was like someone from 1932. I thought it was like the original guy that chopped up his wife. Yeah, that chopped up his wife and kids, and then like shot
reincarnated
himself.
Jack.
Yeah, I thought.
Oh, then he got like his spirit or malevolent spirit got reincarnated as Jack.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. But that actually makes a lot more sense. So Jack died then in the snow.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah, and he dies in the book too.
Yeah.
It's just in the book they touch on the boiler more often, saying the boiler is just a mess. Like it tends to be overpressurized, and Jack has to keep checking in on it to make sure, like, to release the pressure a bit and make sure the whole place doesn't go kaboom. Well, in the book, it goes kaboom.
Yeah, in the book, the whole fucking hotel blows up.
And in the end, actually, Jack he corners Danny and is about to kill him, not with an axe, but with basically a croquet mallet.
Yeah.
And he realizes that he's being taken over by the spirit of the Overlook. So he stops himself and lets Danny run. And he runs away with Hollerand, the black guy, who ends up getting axed, and Wendy. So all 3 of them survive in this one.
In the movie.
In the book, yes.
Alright, so was there any other major significance of room 237 beyond just the woman that died there?
I don't think so.
Other than furthering the plot, no. But the 237 bit, that was pretty much all that had happened in the... Like, they covered all they could in the movie, and we expanded on the book already.
Because it seemed like a much bigger deal than what Danny had made it out, than what Danny and the Hollerand had made it out to be. So I didn't know if there was, like, should be more to it.
Yeah, it was a bit more important in the book because it's like the start of both Danny and Jack realizing there's something wrong with the hotel.
Right.
Though Jack ends up succumbing to it, where Danny is like, because he has the Shining, he's able to resist it a bit more.
Okay. And then, this is a really small thing, and I'm probably really dumb for asking this, but when Jack, he's like axing down the door, right?
Yes.
Why does he say, "Here's Johnny"? Like that's is that his name? That's not his name.
That's actually just a thing from them filming it. Is Kubrick pretty much let him say whatever he wanted to?
Because Jack Nicholson plays some good crazy.
Yes, because he does. He was the first Joker or second Joker, but so they pretty much let him say whatever he wanted to when they were filming that whole thing. Both the Three Little Pigs thing before he started hitting the door, and then Here's Johnny, and that was the one that Kubrick thought was the best. And that was the one that he thought showed or was the scariest or something.
The craziest.
Yeah.
Which honestly, I think ad-libbing there really does help out with the actual coming off as crazy.
And here's the thing about that movie is Kubrick. So, since you guys don't know, Kubrick is like one of the most meticulous directors there ever was. He would film some of those shots, and I think it was actually in that movie, he would film them like 200 times to make sure that he got it the correct way. Like that scene with the blood coming out of the elevator, he shot that, I think, 20 or 30 times. And they would have to clean up, refill it, reset, and then film it again for another like 5-second scene, and then he would be like, no, it's not good enough, let's do it again.
Such a hassle.
Yes, it was. But so he would change the script so often that while they were filming it, Jack Nicholson wouldn't read the script anymore. He would just take directions from Kubrick on what he was supposed to do.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Because it would change so often. He was like, I'm getting a new script every day. I don't care anymore. Just tell me what I'm supposed to do and I'll do it.
That actually works out into the film's favor,
Yes.
showing that he's just going off the rails.
And in addition to that, one other thing that, let me double check this before I say it, but if I'm correct...
Well, while Quinn's looking that up, we can probably answer the dog thing real quick.
Yeah.
The dog was just a weird side thing from in the book where I believe it was the hotel owner's son he was gay, as it were.
Oh.
And he had a friend who he just loved to humiliate because he knew his friend was really wanting his dick. And so he would humiliate him. He would have him dress up as a dog and beg for bones and all that stuff. And eventually, I think his friend went off the rails and bit his dick off while giving him a blowjob.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that makes more sense.
Yeah.
And so the friend wanted the
hotel owner's son's dick.
Okay.
Yeah. And eventually he just went off the rails mad and just bit the hotel owner's son's dick off.
While giving a blowjob.
Yeah.
Okay.
I may be making that up, but I'm pretty sure. I know it has something to do with sexuality and there's a blowjob involved. But anyway, also in the book, towards the end, Danny sees this playing out, and the dog guy is going insane, and he also tries to attack Danny kind of like the naked lady did. Right. Except he's a lot more violent because he actually becomes like a dog with sharp teeth.
Okay.
And it's super spooky, and that's not cool.
Yeah, because that was just like one scene of
it's just
dog. That didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, so I was just, okay.
Yeah, that was the case. They definitely expanded upon it in the book. And what else was really weird they didn't really touch upon?
The fucking hedge animals.
That's right, they didn't have hedge animals.
I'm happy about that. I didn't like that in the book, honestly.
I love that in the book. In the book, they didn't have a hedge maze. They just had topiary animals, which would come to life, I believe it was to Jack. And
to Danny.
Did it come to life to Danny?
I think so.
Yeah. Either way, I know for a fact it came to life to Jack.
Yeah, they did become to life to Danny because there was that scene, there was that part when he's playing in the playground and they're trying to attack him and he has to hide inside the playground.
Oh, that's right. But yeah, both Jack and Danny see him. Danny's just like, well, whatever, there's some more weird shit happening at the hotel. And Jack thinks he's going nuts. So he looks at him and then he blinks or something and then they're just back to normal. So he thinks and this is another part of the book where he constantly wants to get a drink. Like his mannerisms in the book, he's always constantly wiping his lips smacking him because he wants something to drink so bad.
But throughout the entire movie, he didn't actually have a drink, did he? Was that all just hallucination?
No, it was entirely hallucinations.
Okay.
He was just going off the rails.
But he sees it as it being real.
Yeah.
He does.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, as you saw when Wendy walked into that bar, there was no Lloyd there was no drinks, there was just nothing.
Yeah. So, two things that I was going to say. Number one is that scene with the baseball bat where she's on the...
swinging at it. Yeah.
That was filmed 127 times. Over and over and over and over and over again because Kubrick wanted it perfect. And that's the record for most retakes in a movie. Now, the other thing that I was going to say that I wanted to double check is Kubrick would actually blow up on the lady who played Wendy because he wanted her to look traumatized in the movie, and he would freak out on her all the time so that it would actually have an effect on how she looked in the movie.
Well, I mean, that's horrible.
Yeah,
but it certainly worked.
It worked. As sad as it is, it worked. She was definitely fucking traumatized that whole movie.
In my mind, I was thinking man, the amount of the many years of therapy that they're gonna have to go through after this.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
At least she will.
And then there's two more things I wanted to talk about. One is in the process of filming that, because the movie is so fucked up, Danny, the guy or the kid who played him, did not know what he was filming. They did not let him near any of the horror aspects, anything like that. Everything, he didn't know what kind of film, what kind of movie he was making until a long time after it came out.
That way?
Oh,
yes.
So when he was when he was in the maze and doing all those scenes, it was just it
was just him running.
Oh, really? Oh, man.
If you look at all the scenes that he's in, there's nothing where he's actually in a scene where it's something messed up. With the room 237, he just sees the door and then it cuts.
Right.
With the little girls, it's close-ups of him. It's close-ups of him.
And then it switches back and forth.
And it switches back and forth. They do show a scene of him and the little girls in the same scene.
I think that was just composited.
But it was just them in their regular clothes. It wasn't them.
Oh, that is true.
In the dead part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
And then the last part that I wanted to touch on, because this is something that I find funny in the filming of the movie, was So in the scene, the Here's Johnny scene where Jack Nicholson is breaking down the door, they had to film that over a period of 3 days with the use of 60 doors, because Jack Nicholson used to be a volunteer firefighter before he did this, before he was an actor, and he would break down the prop doors that they had too easily, so they had to keep getting harder and softer doors to where he could break it through it the way Kubrick wanted it.
That's pretty
So
great.
funny.
Yeah.
Kind of like a weird clash of previous careers, just like a weird happenstance.
And then the last thing I wanted to touch on is the fucking insane fan theories that came out of this movie. Now there's two big ones. Number one is they think that a lot of people think that it has something to do with Native American genocide. Because
they
said that
they talk it was built on a burial ground,
Right.
but then there's a lot of imagery. Like if you look in the pantry, there's a can with Native American headdress and something on it,
Yeah.
and people think that is connected to the fact that this movie is about Native American genocide. Now that's the lower of the two theories that I'm going to show you. That not lower as in it doesn't hold up, but lower as in the less crazy. The most crazy one is the fact that people think that this is him apologizing for filming the moon landing.
Filming the moon landing?
Yes, because people think that the moon landing wasn't real.
Yeah.
They think it was filmed by
Yeah.
Kubrick. And the evidence that they have to back that up is a couple parts in the movie, but the one that I always remember is when Danny goes into the room 237, he has a sweater on
That says Apollo.
Apollo
Yeah.
11. Yep. So everyone's like, oh, you fucking filmed the moon landing. Look, see?
Kid's wearing a fucking Apollo sweater. It's not like it's the 1970s or some shit.
And one other thing, this is an Easter egg in a different movie that pertains to The Shining. Did you know that in the movie Toy Story,
Okay.
so in the movie Toy Story, you
Yeah.
remember how they go to the crazy kid's house?
Yes, it's...
Yeah. The carpet in the crazy kid's house is the same carpet pattern that's in The Shining.
That's
Oh my
great.
God,
You're talking like the
really?
ones that are like the weird hexagon?
Yes.
Yeah, wow.
The hexagon. It is the exact same
shit.
pattern.
I'll have to keep an eye out for that. That's just a really weird and subtle Easter egg.
I
Yeah.
want to go back and look at that. Oh man.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk about that pantry scene some more, because I think this was done really well in the book.
Which one?
The-
The one
where
when Jack's in there?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
And he's saying like, go check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, pretty much. I know in the book it was really ambiguous whether or not that it actually was any supernatural shit happening, because in the book it's just like, okay, Jack's crazy, he's just seeing shit, and then you see Danny also seeing some stuff, and it calls back to the Halloran quote. It's just like pictures. They can't hurt you. So we're wondering if it's actually happening, or if it's just like they're both seeing stuff that happened in the past, or there's something just freaky going on. Now, usually in the book, when Danny sees something, you know it's like something weird is happening, like it's something that happened in the past. But usually it pertains to either a mob shooting or the lady drowning in the bathtub, stuff that actually could happen in the realm of reality. Unlike the Topiary movie, which was just strange. Like, there's no way that could happen in real life. So when Jack sees it happening, okay, he's just going nuts. It's no big deal. Danny sees it, okay, something's weird. But in the movie, we don't see anything miraculous happening until Jack gets locked in the pantry. Because he's locked in there. There's no way he's getting out without Wendy or somebody opening it. But it opens up somehow after he makes a deal with
Lloyd, right?
well, either Lloyd or
was it? It was the butler, right?
yeah, the butler. I always
Yeah.
forget his name. The dude who killed his family.
Jerry?
Grady.
Grady. Thank you, Grady. And so he gets let out. So that means we definitely know for a fact something supernatural is happening now. And I don't know if in the book they mentioned it was built on an Indian burial ground, or the fact that the place was it's just a magnet for bad psychic juju.
Yeah.
So it's all ambiguous, and it's much better done, in my opinion, in the book than in the movie. Because in the movie, it's actually still very ambiguous. Well, actually, you know what? They kind of do it in the movie too, where it's still pretty ambiguous up until the pantry scene. Because of course, Danny has the strangle marks on his neck whenever he meets the old lady in the bathtub, but Jack does provide a very good example, saying he could have just done that to himself.
Yeah.
It was a valid point in there.
Yeah.
Plus, Jack comes off as a lot more sympathetic in the book. In the movie, he's just an asshole. Just through and through, he is an asshole.
Jack Nicholson's eyebrows were really, really weird throughout the entire movie. I
Of all
couldn't
things,
stop.
his
I'm sorry,
eyebrows.
but like his eyebrows were the weirdest fucking thing ever, and I couldn't.
So
stop
let me get this
focusing
straight.
on that.
You saw a movie where there was a naked old lady who has,
Scars everywhere.
well, not
Okay,
even
and-
scars. That's straight up, what is it?
It's like burn marks.
No,
Oh,
not burn marks.
necrosis.
Necrosis, degradation of her
Yeah.
body. And you're like, oh no, not those eyebrows.
No, wait. During that part, I focused on the old lady. But like, I'm talking about in the beginning, and in the most part, I noticed his eyebrows, and I was like, God damn, those are the weirdest fucking eyebrows I've ever seen. And then at the very end, when they show that picture, just to make sure that it was Jack Nicholson, I looked at the eyebrows, and they were the exact same eyebrows.
Well-
and I was like, God damn.
Jack
God
Nicholson
damn.
does have very good crazy face.
Yes,
He
he
does.
Yeah, so that's why. I mean, I don't know if it's because of The Shining or because of something else.
No,
that
it's
I
the
just
Joker.
associate.
Eyebrows. It's
The
because of the
Joker as well. He just does crazy,
Really
way too well.
And he was in One Flew Over the
Yeah.
Cuckoo's Nest, which is about an insane asylum.
So he does it great. He comes off as the smarmy asshole that Jack Torrance is in the book.
Yeah.
And it's
And here's one thing that I was actually going to bring up. So, in the scene, because I can't remember if they covered this in the book or not, but in the scene where Jack goes into room 237,
yeah.
so he goes into the room and then he comes back and he tells Wendy that he didn't see anything, that there wasn't
Yeah.
anything there. My question is he lying to her because he doesn't want her to know, or does he legitimately not remember? Because any time something happens to Danny that's supernatural, like in the beginning when he has those flashes about what's going to happen at the Overlook, he can't remember what happened. So I'm wondering, did Jack actually decide to not tell Wendy what was happening, or did he completely forget what actually happened?
I want to say in the movie terms, in the movie universe, he saw it, but it was just like, no, I'm not gonna worry her about this.
Yeah, I thought he was lying in the movie. Like,
Yeah.
That's the vibe that I
Yeah.
got. But that's a very good point that he could have just forgotten.
Yeah, but I mean, like, he didn't forget Lloyd or
Yeah, he
anything
didn't.
else that's crazy happening, so I
No.
can't imagine he'd just forget the old lady.
True.
Now, in the book, I think they say, like, he's just going crazy. Like, he thinks he's going crazy, so he's just like, no, this
Yeah, he's
isn't
blocking
happening.
it out. He's saying, I'm not crazy. I'm not seeing these things. It's
Yeah.
just,
Like he saw it, but it's like, nope, this isn't happening. I just must be going off the wagon. And then that's where he came up with the thing saying, well, clearly I'm crazy in seeing this, so Danny must have either made this up and it's getting to me, so he must have just blacked out and strangled himself on accident, because they taught that in the movie, saying that he blacks out whenever he has these visions.
Yeah.
So why can't it just happen here?
Yeah.
In the
And then the last thing I want to cover on, because we're almost to where we're going to stop, but let me just say, you almost ruined that movie for me at the beginning, Brett, because when they were rolling the the actor names, when they came to Scatman Carruthers, I could hear you laughing from 2 seats away.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, that man's name is Scatman Carruthers.
Do you want to go into the reason why, or I think we covered it in the Comic-Con cast, but
I can't remember.
no, we didn't, because it was just something that was one-off. Because I remember we were waiting in the Jay and Silent Bob line. They were just talking about, no, it was in some other line. And
We were waiting.
we were waiting someplace, that's not very specific for our experience with Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And Quinn was just talking about The Shining, I guess, and
Something I can't remember.
something. And then you mentioned, like, yeah, there's a dude in the movie named Scatman Carruthers. I'm like, fucking Scatman Carruthers.
No,
got
that
no real
was
name.
you straight up. I was like, yeah, this guy's name is Scatman Carruthers, and you went, what?
What? And you're like, no, it's the real name. What?
Scatman Carruthers?
Scatman Carruthers.
That was like his legit name. I'm like,
Damn
oh,
straight it
okay.
is.
Why would you name your child Scatman?
Why
I don't
wouldn't
know.
you?
I mean,
He's gonna be unique.
I suppose, but it's not exactly a name that'd be easy to go with
Or,
your childhood with.
Or Lemangelo. It's spelled lemon jello.
Jello.
Or Ladasha.
Yeah.
L-A.
L-E-A. And then wasn't there someone that we were talking about outside the bowling alley a couple weeks back where it's ABCDE or was Abkida?
Wait, what?
Somebody named their kid Abkida, but it was spelled ABCDE.
I cannot remember this.
That's just A, B, C, D, E, right?
Yeah.
Wait, are you?
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't. No one named. Wait, do you mean like at the bowling alley?
Yeah, we were talking about this outside the bowling alley a couple weeks back, Casey, and it came up that we were talking about weird names.
Well, I really don't think they actually named their kid Aptica. I think they like.
You'd be surprised. I've
I
seen
think they
some
just
shit.
like put A B C D E
I've
for their name at that like bowling game.
I've seen some shit, man.
That's true. But no, there was it was talking about names you saw on the board. Never mind that. I thought we were talking about like actual legit names. But no, I know there's a dude with the world's longest name where basically I think they call him like his, because they basically gave him a first name and a last name, and they gave him a bunch of different like long ass names starting with every letter of the alphabet. So basically they just call him something something plus 26.
something.
Just for shortness sake.
Yeah.
Where like his actual name is like 200 something characters long.
No, thank you.
Holy shit.
Or maybe even longer than that. And we made me look this up because it's fucking hilarious.
No, thank you.
Because I read through it all of it, and then I realized, oh my god, all his names are just different letters of the alphabet extended into infinity.
Yeah.
Like, this is great.
Damn.
Alright, so we're hitting the 30-minute mark. Awesome. This whole combo super spook episode
Finally, we actually.
is going to be an hour long.
Finally, we record an episode where we actually talk about the movie the whole time.
Yep, unlike Finding Dory, where
God
the recording
damn
is fucked up.
That is pissing
And
me.
I go in right here, right?
Yes.
Pretty much. Okay. I figured it was right next to Chipotle.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hopefully my brother doesn't text me about fucking cacti again. Because motherfucker. Dude. Oh, that was... I still think it's one of my favorite moments in this podcast. It hasn't been put up yet,
funny.
but I remember I showed Casey a bit of a preview at one point, and man, I was just dying.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny.
Brett, what's the name of your cactus?
His name is Jim, you ignorant
I feel like
fuck.
it's Jeff or Gerald or something.
No, he thought it was, he was gonna name it Jeremy or Larson. And I told him his name is Jim. Yeah, I figured. But, yeah, no, I have a cactus, and I forgot to water him for the past 2 weeks, so he's not too happy. He's
Why
not
are
a
you
happy
killing the
cactus.
cactus, mate?
I don't know, man. But no, the best part
That
is,
was attractive.
Yeah.
we found out we had this thing that my mom won in an office lottery where it's a miniature cactus biome. So now we're growing more cacti, but they're mini cacti in a little bowl.
Of course.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, this has been the Summer of Spook Variety Hour.
Yeah.
That's going to be the actual title now.
Damn straight it is.
And we will see you guys sometime later. Peace.